It's time for another edition of Fitness in VR. And today it's Creed Rise to Glory, another game from Servius. I'm joined, as you can see, by Polish Paul again. How are you doing, Paul?
No, I'm good, thanks, Another week, very nice. Fast.
I love that hoodie. I'm sure I've seen that hoodie before.
My favorite. I like the cap.
Thank you. Yeah, it's different. Something different. Yeah, as we mentioned, we're going to be looking at Creed Rise to Glory. It's the second game from Servius. Obviously, we previously chatted about Sprint Vector. And Creed Rise to Glory is probably different again from the previous games we talked about because this is based on a licensed product, being Creed, Apollo Creed, and obviously the Rocky films, which are known and beloved all over the world. So kind of like in the game, obviously Michael B. Jordan's likeness is being used as well. Kind of Sly Stallone's likeness being used. I don't think it's the same voice actor, but it pretty much sounds like him in the game. So it's kind of following the boxer-size theme a little bit, but it's more of a campaign, straight boxing game one-on-one with an opponent, which is, kind of like in the vein of a fight night or a Ready to Rumble. And this one is really intense as well, isn't it? I mean, I think when you kind of the ducking and weaving and kind of like the motions and the throwing the punches and the kind of the blocking, it's very intense, isn't it?
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah. I remember a friend of mine who doesn't really play VR very much, and obviously I said to them before, I was like, you've got Creed and stuff, and I was like, yeah, I've got Creed. He's like, I'll give it a try, and he came around and tried it, and I've never seen him sweat so much.
I remember, when it first come out, and I did a live stream of it, and I streamed all the game. That was before the update, so it was like about 2.5 hours long to go through the story. And after that, I was knackered.
Probably just lie down. Like, I can't move my arm.
Finally, the game is over. Live stream is done.
It's quite interesting, but because obviously the campaign you go through from start to finish. But like, I think I started to tire probably about halfway through.
Yeah,
and
it gets really difficult towards the end as well. I'm sure I had to change difficulty level just to finish it faster.
Yeah. I mean, I think that's the cool thing. You could probably play the campaign through from start to finish as a fitness regime if you wanted to. I mean, obviously, you don't have to play it all through in one go. You can kind of pick up where you left off. Right, thankfully, because if you had to do it all in one go, I think there'd be a lot of people not finishing the game. But yeah, no, it works really well. And obviously, I think there's the natural, as a boxing game, you can naturally associate it with a fitness game, but also it's very much a tie into a film. And I think people watching it or wanting to play it would identify it as a game that they want to play based on the film that they've enjoyed. So yeah, it's different. But when you're like, I've mentioned this before about VR, when you're kind of talking about tie-ins and big licenses attached to the games, I mean, that's such a crucial thing for VR at this point, isn't it, when it's trying to get mass attention?
Yeah, I think that's part of this game's success as well, because of course we've had few boxing games before, but Creed definitely most popular out of them all, on all the platforms, not only PlayStation VR, on PC and everywhere. Creed, it seems the boxing game that you go to buy when you want to box in VR.
And the movement feels very different as well from Box VR. I mean, we've mentioned as well how Box VR really kind of gets you moving left and right and back and forth and up and down and blocking. And there's very much that in Creed as well. But I think the use of kind of the phantom technology and actually feeling as if punches are hitting you, it kind of changes it, because like when those blobs hit you in Box VR, you just kind of feel like, oh, well, you've lost the score or whatever. But like you actually feel like you're in a fight in Creed.
And also they added it so you're not just gonna wildly swing your arms. So eventually, if you do that too much, your arms kind of gonna move slower, like follow your actual hand. So they want you to feel like in a proper boxing fight as well, so you have to do your blocking, like think a bit what you're gonna do next, not just go full on your enemy.
It's a stamina thing, isn't it? So you have to be aware of your stamina, and you have to be aware of kind of like you're not over tanking yourself, because if you do, obviously you leave yourself vulnerable to counter punches and things like that. So yeah, it's a very different feeling game than anything else, which is fascinating, because like you didn't think like with boxing games like you'd feel like they would play one way, but it's very unique.
In Knockout League, it's more like Punch Out in it, so it's more like you have to remember what your enemy's animations are, and then you react to the animations. While in Creed, it's more of you just trying, it's all about your reflex, how what you're doing, and also you have to think a lot what you're gonna do next. So yeah, two boxing games, but two totally different ones as well.
definitely more tactical Creed, I would say. And obviously, as you mentioned, there is a training mode to kind of like get you in the mood for that little bit. The campaign is kind of like the feature aspect of Creed, but there is training to do that as well. There's multiplayer online as well, so you can fight against someone else if you want to, which I think is quite an interesting thing we'll come on to in a minute. But I think one of the cool things about Creed as well is that it's very cinematic. So like you can tell the production values are higher perhaps than most VR games, and certainly probably higher than most of the games we've covered already. So I think when you're looking at that, I mean, that's having that look and that feel, so it feels like it's part of the film, is so important, isn't it?
Yeah, because they got all the arenas, what they've got in the movie as well. If you watch Creed movie, you know what's what. And they even got that fight with the bouncer outside the club.
But it's a real tour de force, I think. And I think as a fan of the films, you're going to recognize things and you're going to identify with things, and it's going to connect with you much more. And one of the cool things about that as well is that with the DLC, you can actually fight as established characters from the universe. So like which is unique. And I was thinking about that actually, because like when you put on that track list when you're in the gym and you feel like, right, this is the song that I kind of work out best to and I listen to. Like, do you think that there's a sense of, right, I'm Mr. T and this is how I'm going to box someone to pieces?
Yeah,
I mean,
probably.
Yeah, is that kind of like assuming that role?
Yeah.
It's different. But I quite like that about it, is that it's such a the feel of it feels different depending on your character, and obviously every character plays differently, and there's that different kind of things to think about, but also there's the aesthetical choice as well, which makes it feel different no matter who you choose to play.
Yeah, it's definitely high value, this game, looking so nice, graphics, and the atmosphere when you're in the ring, you can see people around it, all the lights flashing.
So yeah, I mean, one of the things as well that's quite interesting is that when you're being knocked out in the game and you kind of have to bring yourself back up and stand up, right? That's a weird feeling as well, because like it kind of like zooms out and zooms in, and
you're like running back to your body.
Like I said, it feels like you're in a fight, doesn't it?
Yeah, there's so many little details in the game what make it such a good experience. Like, it seems like Surviously thought that one through a lot.
As you mentioned, there's online PvP as well. There's a free play mode where you can customize your battles, but you can literally go on and fight with a friend. And I suppose that we touched upon it a little bit before, but I mean, like finding people and connecting with people in this time of crisis. I mean, like if you had a friend who, you might decide actually it might be cool to just make that a daily thing to fight online and just kind of like have a duke it out online. I mean, playing online games at the moment is such a big part of people's daily habits, I suppose, now.
Yeah, definitely, especially physical ones like that as well.
Do you find you play with a lot of people at the moment online, or are you just more solo gamer in general?
I'm playing nothing online at the moment at all. You need some time to play it. Obviously, I don't have that much time.
Yeah,
but I still think online games, especially VR, definitely bringing people together, like when they need it, so they don't feel like stuck at home.
Yeah, I think Firewall was a big one, wasn't it, for VR? Well, a lot of people kind of clicked on with that, and I think that had a big community behind it. And Honor and Duty is done really well as well, I think.
And with VR games, you've got that presence in this world, so you're not seeing just television and your house around. You're in actual world of the game. It makes it so much easier maybe for people to just forget for a few moments what's happening and just enjoy, what they see now in the game.
Definitely. So, I mean, do you think people might use Creed as kind of like a gateway game to play like other fitness games? So obviously we've talked about how Box VR might be an introductory for some people, but some people might see Creed as that introduction because it's more of a mass market game that they might connect with.
Yeah, it definitely will help. I say if you don't have Creed, if anyone don't play it and you want the game, that's gonna make you feel like you actually did something, makes you feel your arms tired and everything, then yeah, this is one of those what you want to get.
Yeah, absolutely. I've said to you, but I've played it before, in the past, and I've struggled.
Yeah,
it's deceiving, but yeah, definitely good. And as I say, it comes with a sense of adrenaline, being able to fight as those characters and love, and and it's a really authentic experience. Like you've got the music that's inspired by the film. So you've mentioned locations, there's certain fights.
They did updates as well, so they added all the characters from Rocky movies as well, and then they did another update with the characters from the second Creed movie.
Yeah, yeah, it's great. I think they've really connected it well to the Rocky universe. So it's not just like if you've ever only just watched the Creed films, it's not just for you. Like there are things for Rocky fans in there as well, which is nice. I think it's a nice touch. So as always, we're going to close this out with, what did you like most about it? And if they were ever to do a Creed 2, what would you like to see?
Right, what I like the most, it's hard to tell the one thing what I like the most in Creed. I think everything what they did, all those little mechanics coming together, and especially being in that world, if you like the movies, I watched all the Rocky movies and all the Creed movies, you're gonna want to play it anyway. In the future, I think if they added something, maybe when you've got your blocking, when you block, maybe when you move your body by accident, maybe let that not take your stamina away too much, so then you can throw punches, because you have to get used to that system, of stamina in this game. But of course, sometimes you get too excited and start moving around.
You get really into it.
Yeah, and then you cannot throw punch back. But that's just one thing, I think, small thing I would change.
Yeah. As you say, you really get into it, and I think that's a fair criticism. Definitely, I think it's one that would it's more of a criticism, more of like kind of a way like how you can develop the system going forward, because it works so well.
It did, and it's only first game. If they do any more boxing games, they got such a solid foundation now on Creed. Amazing game.
Yeah, no, a big fan of it myself, and it's also a game that's Perp Games published as well. So check it out on the store if you haven't already. So that's
which games you didn't publish? You published most of them now.
Yeah, everything. Yeah, it's going to do it for this video. Thank you again for joining us. We hope you've enjoyed these videos so far, and hope you enjoyed chatting more about Creed. Thanks again to Paul for joining us. Obviously, if you've got any questions at all, let us know in the comment section below, and get in touch with us. And stay tuned to social media, because there'll be lots more Creed stuff happening in the next couple of days. So keep an eye peeled for that. That's it from me, and thanks to Paul.
Thanks.